Yes, ladies and gentlemen, on a good morning, a good afternoon, good evening. Again, this is your host, Lansana Sako with The Hidden Truth. Today, July 13th, 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, viewers around the world, fans of The Hidden Truth, we are going to deal with a very, very sensitive, but at the same time despicable topic that took place in the capital of Sierra Leone, Freetown. And this has to do with a person with disability, someone that is suffering from mental health issues, was brutalized, beaten nearly to death with no mercy and no one to come to his aid. This person has no sense of judgment, meaning the victim, but yet still people that called themselves sensible people, people that believe their five senses are working correctly, attacked this helpless and innocent man that suffers from mental health issues in the person of Blacker. That's his alias name. That's the name that he's popularly known by in Freetown, Sierra Leone. Ladies and gentlemen, the only crime Blacker committed was to say something that these hooligans, these devilish people, believe it went against the respect of the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio. They alleged or believed they should torture this man for saying something that they do not agree with, for saying something that they believe is disrespectful to the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, because they belong to the same political party that the President belongs to. That is the ruling Sierra Leone People's Party. They also believe that no one should have the right to say anything against the President. No one should have their constitutional right or human right to disagree or to speak freely of their opinions about the President, because to them, the President is supreme. Ladies and gentlemen, I call all civilized people to condemn what these people did, but I call on the institutions in Sierra Leone under the government of the Republic of Sierra Leone to take action, not to stand by as onlookers to let this particular heinous crime go unpunished. For this will set a precedent in our country that will cause chaos and that will cause danger in our country. For some other people will believe it is right and it is just, or even if they do not believe that what they're doing is right, but they believe even if they do it, there would be no consequences for their actions. A country that has no laws, that doesn't hold people accountable for their actions, that's a country that is doomed to fail. Development will never come to such countries, especially a country that will not defend the weakest, a helpless, such as the person in the picture we're talking about, Blacker. This Blacker suffers from mental health issues. They attacked him in broad daylight. 10 or so people that claim to support the ruling party or the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. In the video that I will show you, where this beating is taking place, ladies and gentlemen, these guys are actually telling a man that has no sense of himself, doesn't even know whether he said what they are punishing him for. A man that is known to be mentally insufficient, deranged, is at the hands of these guys, beaten, tortured, stomped on, slapped, kicked by so many people. In this same video, ladies and gentlemen, the man that this mentally deranged or this mentally disabled gentleman was holding for protection was even worse than the ones that were standing in front of him, throwing blows and kicks at him, because at least he could see the ones that were in front of him and he could prepare to block their blows not to reach his face. But this particular guy whose feet or foot he was holding, ladies and gentlemen, the guy was coming unsuspectingly with his hands, slapped this guy several times while other people were kicking, stomping, and beating him. Now, I believe if I post this video on social media, I will be banned by Facebook. So I just thought about it, but I don't believe Facebook should ban something like this, because we're advocating and we're calling for justice. So ladies and gentlemen, I am today calling on the leadership of the Sierra Leone People's Party, SLPP. We are calling on the Inspector General of Police in the Republic of Sierra Leone. We are calling on the police station in the jurisdiction where this crime occurred, the higher-ups in those police agencies, to please take action. Since this thing happened to Mr. Blacker, ladies and gentlemen, we haven't heard any condemnation from an influential or member of the parliament, members of the police station or law enforcement, or the leadership of the SLPP to come out flat out disowning these particular individuals, these hooligans, or condemning flat out and outright, unequivocally, the actions of these people, and promise the people of Sierra Leone that the resources of the Sierra Leone People's Party and the resources of law enforcement agency will go behind in looking and catching, prosecuting the perpetrators of this devilish, heinous crime. It is absurd to know that in today's day in Sierra Leone, the 21st century, a deranged man, a man that has been diagnosed and known to be mentally disabled or mentally incapable of forming proper judgment, can be beaten, can be stomped, manhandled, because he uttered words that does not sit well to some people that belongs to a political party, that our political differences now goes above human thinking, that now, because of our political divide, we spare no one, even the one that is not capable of being coherent or making sense, in this case, Blacker. So we call on all Sierra Leoneans to please ask that the law enforcement in our country, the leadership of the Sierra Leone People's Party, and why I keep mentioning the Sierra Leone People's Party is because the perpetrators in this video uttered the Sierra Leone People's Party. They told us in the video that the reason why they're beating this man up, they are torturing this man, they are punishing this man, they are manhandling this man, is because he said something unpalatable to the sitting president and said something against the political party SLPP. They themselves admitted that they were members of the SLPP party. I do not want to hear all these Kakame stories from SLPP supporters that these guys may be impersonators, that these gentlemen may just say it's SLPP, but they're really the opposition party, APC, because we've heard those stories before. I don't care whether that's what you believe or that's what you don't believe. But what I care about, for the fact that they've mentioned the SLPP, then the leadership of the SLPP should come and condemn the actions of these hooligans. If we leave these things to go in vain or to ride through the storm without anyone being held responsible, it is going to continue to be this way all the time. Our country will wreck and chaos will prevail, injustice will prevail, and guess what? The weak will suffer, as it has shown in the case of this mentally challenged individual in the person of Blacka. Ladies and gentlemen, I want Sierra Leoneans to know today that we must have principles that we go by. We must have principles. We must agree that such a behavior should not and must not be tolerated in any civilized situation. And we must agree that the people that did this to this mentally challenged individual in the person of Blacka must be hunted down and brought to justice. Ladies and gentlemen, Martin Luther King said, the day we become silent about things that our lives begin to end, the day we become silent about things that matter. If you become silent, what Martin Luther King is referring to here, he is telling us about the danger of not standing up for justice. He is telling us about the danger of not pointing out what is wrong to the public. Ladies and gentlemen, meaning if we sit by and let these guys go unpunished, ladies and gentlemen, our lives begin to end, means chaos will prevail, justice will never be served. Then, ladies and gentlemen, if that happens, we are going to be living in a failed state. So we must not allow our country, Sierra Leone, to decay to that point, to go down rock bottom. So we call on the authorities that has the power to change things to come to the aid, not only to the aid of Blacka, but to come to the aid of majority of the population. Ladies and gentlemen, people with disabilities in Sierra Leone, they are looked down upon. Even poor people that has no physical or mental disabilities are looked down upon, let alone people that have mental and physical disability. But at least, ladies and gentlemen, we must not allow people to take advantage of them. We must not allow people to consider them as non-entities. Blacka is a citizen of Sierra Leone that deserves all the rights that the president, the minister, the affluent or the elite has under the law of our country. And those laws must be exercised. We must stop the cherry picking. We must stop the selective justice. We must be uniform in the dispensation of justice. And in this case, Blacker must receive justice. So we are calling for justice for Blacker. We're calling justice for Blacker. We're calling the head of the police, law enforcement, Inspector General of Police. We are calling on the leadership of the Sierra Leone People's Party. We are calling on the police station or the jurisdiction where Blacker was assaulted physically and mercilessly. We are calling on them. We are calling on the member of parliament that belongs in the constituency where Blacker resides or frequents to take action. We're calling all of the above to take action. We are calling on leaders or our leaders, no matter what political party you belong to, what organization you belong to, we are calling on all of you to make a public statement in condemning this kind of heinous crime against a helpless citizen that suffers from mental health issues. Ladies and gentlemen, we must not allow for this to go on. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. Injustice against one is injustice against all. Ladies and gentlemen, please just give me a second. We should continue. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. So, my fellow Sierra Leoneans, we must not cherry pick who we should defend and who we shouldn't. That has been the story, sadly, for our country. And this is the reason today, because of such practices, we are behind in the development stage, behind the rest of the world. For where there is no justice, where there is no accountability, chaos, corruption, embezzlement will engulf the people of that nation. And this is what is going on in our country. So, ladies and gentlemen, I say to you all that we must stand for justice. Martin Luther King said, and I quote, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in the moment of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." So where do you stand? You know, for many of us, when there is comfort, when there is candy, there are chocolates and all these goodies, we stand there. But when chaos comes, bitterness comes, we run away or act as if it is not happening, especially if it is not happening to us. Ladies and gentlemen, Martin Luther King also said to us, in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. If we keep quiet and not say anything, not fight for Blacker to get justice, to set an example that we as Sierra Leoneans, we as people, we as a civilized nation, we are not going to tolerate such barbaric act, inhumane act, devilish act against any of our citizens, even if they have physical or mental challenges, even if they are poor, sick, or rich. We are not going to accept it. He also said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? You know, some of us, when we have everything in our lives, we do not for others, we do only for ourselves and our immediate families. Anyone outside that circle does not matter to us. That's not the way we should live. I should be your brother's keeper. You should be my brother's keeper. I should be your sister's keeper. You should be my sister's keeper. We should go above our comfort zone and reach out to others so that our country, Sierra Leone, will be a better place for us all. If it does become a better place, our children and great grandchildren will enjoy to tell the story, will enjoy to tell the hard work that we have done and left them with. But if we allow it to decay, they will keep running away across the shores for greener pastures somewhere, across the shores for safety somewhere else. And our country would remain underdeveloped and decay as time goes on. This again is Lantana Sako with the Hidden Truth. God bless you. God bless Sierra Leone. We say justice for Blacker.